Let's talk about student debt in the USA. We're looking at a number so big it's hard to wrap your head around, over $1.7 trillion. And that number, it's hanging over the heads of more than 43 million Americans. It's this story that always kicks off with so much hope, so much ambition. But for so many, it ends in a really tough financial reality. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and really look at the truth behind this huge national issue. I mean, this question right here, it just cuts right to the heart of this painful situation. We're all told that education is the key, right? It's what unlocks your future, opens all the doors. But what happens when that same key also locks you into a financial burden that can follow you for the rest of your life? So first up, let's dive into this massive conflict, the incredible dream of what higher education promises versus the tough reality that millions of graduates are actually facing. You can just picture it, can't you? That feeling of stepping onto a college campus for the very first time. It is absolutely electric. It's a moment just packed with this belief that a degree is going to change everything, that this is the first real step toward building a better life. And this slide, wow, this lays it all out, plain and simple. On one side, you've got the promise, the whole American dream package, a better job, a better life. But then you look at the other side, and that's the reality. Tuition costs that just keep climbing year after year. The cost of books, housing, just daily life. And for most people, there's really only one way to make it all work: taking out loans. Okay, so this brings us right to the engine of the whole crisis, what people call the debt trap. Let's break down exactly how the thing that's supposed to be the solution, a student loan, so often becomes the problem itself. The amount of money we're talking about here is just staggering. It's not just a few $1,000s. We're talking about individual students taking on debt that's basically the size of a mortgage. And this is all before they've even earned their first real professional paycheck. It's a huge gamble on your own future. So here's how it all happens. The path looks simple enough at first. You borrow money for college and you make that simple promise: I'll pay it later. And at the beginning, that feels totally fine, totally manageable. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Later always comes with interest. And that's where the whole game changes.
Now, the real engine driving this whole trap is something called compounding interest. It's a pretty simple concept, but it is brutal in practice. See, you don't just pay interest on the money you originally borrowed. No, you end up paying interest on the interest. It creates this giant snowball effect where your debt can literally grow faster than you can possibly pay it down.
So this financial trap, it very quickly turns into a lifelong burden. And we're not just talking about numbers on a page anymore. We're talking about the very real, very long-term human cost. Think about graduation day. That should be a day of pure freedom, right? You've got your diploma in your hand, the whole future is stretched out in front of you. But for millions of people, that joy is almost immediately overshadowed by this looming reality. Monthly payments, constant stress, and just this crushing anxiety. Just let that sink in for a second. Imagine making payments month after month for years, only to look at your balance and discover you owe more money than you even took out in the first place. It's a direct result of that compounding interest we were just talking about. It's wild. And believe me, this isn't some short-term problem you knock out in a few years. This timeline shows you the hard reality. The payments start right after graduation, and then 10 years later, 20 years later, even 30 years later, millions of Americans are still paying for an education they got decades ago. So what does this actually mean for people's lives? Well, it means dreams get put on hold. All those major life milestones we think of as part of being an adult, buying a house, starting a family, saving for retirement, they all get pushed back. The sheer weight of this debt makes real financial freedom feel like it's completely, impossibly out of reach. And all of this, it all leads us to one really profound, unanswered question. What is the true cost of knowledge in our society today? The whole system, the entire promise, it was all built on this one simple, powerful idea. Education was the key. It was the tool that was supposed to open doors to opportunity, to a better future for everyone. But as we've seen, for far too many people, that open door has somehow transformed into a financial trap. And it's a trap that is incredibly hard to escape from. So the question we have to ask isn't just, is college worth it anymore? The real question, the one we have to ask ourselves as individuals, as a society, is this: at what cost? And that, right there, is maybe the most sobering takeaway from all of this. In a world that values knowledge more than ever before, its price tag, in dollars, in stress, and in delayed dreams, has never, ever been higher.